This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 11th day of April in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here is what we're tracking tonight. A team of investigators from the Regional Security System arrived in Guyana this afternoon to lead the probe into the police killing of 21-year-old Ronaldo Peters and 32-year-old Guyoil. Both men were shot dead in Linden earlier this week. Peters lost his life on Monday night after he was chased down and shot by a police sergeant, while Guyoil was killed the following day after he was shot by a police officer during the protests over the death of Peters. A post-mortem examination conducted on the two men today found that they both died from single gunshot wounds. 21-year-old Ronaldo Peters was shot to the abdomen, while Guyoil was shot to the head. The post-mortem examinations were conducted this morning after their relatives identified the bodies. The relatives were also asked to provide statements about identifying the bodies to the Police Office of Professional Responsibility. The OPR has been conducting the investigations so far. 3 investigators have arrived from the Regional Security System, and they are expected to be on the ground this weekend interviewing eyewitnesses, visiting the scenes and going through the various pieces of evidence gathered so far. The police killings have rattled the Linden community, which faced similar police killings back in 2012. After a full day of protest, the Linden community has now returned to a state of normalcy as the families of the 2 dead men begin preparations for their last rites. Still, the shock over the deaths continue to anger Linden residents. The 2 policemen involved in the 2 shooting deaths remain under close arrest. In the case of Ronaldo Peters, the circumstances leading to his death and the immediate aftermath were all captured on camera. The young man was with a group of friends when the police sergeant in plain clothes arrived in a heavily tinted, unmarked minibus and immediately chased after the young man with a gun in his hand. Within seconds, Peters was shot and the police sergeant was seen dragging his body out of the yard and dumping that body into the back of the minibus. The youth appeared to be still alive when the vehicle sped off. There are reports that he was not immediately rushed to the hospital, but that bus drove around with him before eventually crossing the bridge to the nearby Mackenzie Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The following day, as large protests enveloped the Wisma community, 32-year-old Guyoil was walking home close to one of the protest sites when the police opened fire with live rounds. He collapsed after being shot to the head. By the time he was taken to the hospital, he was already dead. Many of the leaders in the Linden community have called for an examination of the attitude of the policemen in the town towards Lindeners. The mayor of the town, Sharma Solomon, has pointed out that both officers involved in the shooting had previous complaints against them in Linden and were transferred out of the town, only to be returned to the area.
Eyewitnesses, however, who were present on the scene disputed that, and disputed that because what they saw, in essence, is what they saw was a crime committed by someone who failed to identify themselves, someone who came in an unmarked vehicle, someone who came with guns drawn, and someone who saw an unarmed youth running from the scene and instantly fired a shot. So that in itself contradicted the police report that was given to the public, and in essence outraged most of the young men who witnessed that incident as it unfolded.
Family members of the dead men are pushing for justice, and the community is close at their side. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch. Even one word. It can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Keeping up with the kids' growth spurts might mean it's time for a bigger fridge. Don't worry, at Quartz, we've got you. Save up to $50,000 on select fridges. Get a free grill or mixer with select stoves and more. Need to upgrade your home? Get smart TVs from as low as $32,999. Plus, shop today and pay later. And make your first payment in 30 days with Quartz Ready Finance. Whatever you need, we've got you. Only at Quartz, bringing value home. Offer ends April 23, 2025.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
Drive home your brand new Honda vehicle today. When you buy a brand new vehicle, it's 0 miles, 0 worries. Plus, you get awesome features that will help make your ride smooth and comfortable. Marix offers in-house financing on our Honda City and HRV with down payments of 25% and monthly payments for 3 or 5 years. Conditions apply. Visit our website or call us on 226-1482 to learn more. Buy your brand new Honda vehicle from Marix, the home of Honda in Guyana.
Minister of Home Affairs Benn today said the culture of beating and ill-treating prisoners must change. He made the comments while addressing the Guyana Prison Services Chief Officers Conference at the Guyana National Racket Center this morning. He said while there has been some progress in changing the culture behind the prison walls, there is a lot more work to be done.
We can't be cruel to people in the prison. If we put a man, again I say, unrestricted, lock up in a cell by yourself, we must give you the same food that the others get. No bread and water story. Give them the same food. Don't beat them. Don't create situations which move to the point where you got to use force.
The Home Affairs Minister also said a softer approach is needed, one that would allow the prison service to do better and to understand prisoners and the things they do.
You have a massive opportunity to understand the culture, the behavior, why they did what they did, and what opportunity, what results there are to help them to be better. So that's simply having them locked up, treating them bad, cussing them, beating them now and again, allowing them to fight between themselves. And I said,
Benn instructed the prison officers to provide him with daily reports of any incident in the prison, noting that he should not have to learn about such incidents from outside sources. The statistics regarding confrontations, escapes, including attempts, breaches of the SOPs by prison officers, and the smuggling of contraband into prisons should be studied to allow the prison service to have a better understanding.
What it is that we are challenged with? What are the statistics telling us? How many escapes that occurred? Why they occurred? What were the results of the escapes? I don't want to go back to the traumatizing one which you know of, which resulting in death at Ghalee. as the prison director said, we're not following the SOPs. Why are they not being followed? What support needs to be done? Is it a manpower problem? What are those problems?
The Home Affairs Minister said just recently 4 prison officers were caught smuggling marijuana into the prisons, and therefore they have now moved from being prison wardens to being prisoners. He's hoping for a change in the system. Now let's tell you that 47-year-old security service owner and businessman Ghalee remains hospitalized with injuries that he sustained from a self-inflicted gunshot after he shot his ex-girlfriend dead in her West Demerara home. Khan underwent surgery at the Georgetown Hospital for the gunshot wound to his head. News source understands that several fragments of a bullet were removed from his head during the surgery. News source also understands that he has been alert ever since and has even requested a psychiatric evaluation. Police sources have told news source that the murder suspect will be taken before the court early in the new week, when it is expected he will be discharged from the hospital. He will be facing a murder charge for the shooting death of his ex-girlfriend, Marissa Beat. The 30-year-old woman was gunned down in her home moments after she let the man in after he requested to have a talk with her over their soured relationship. The young woman had reportedly ended the relationship weeks before and was moving on with her life. Her mother was at the back of the house when she said she heard gunshots and rushed to the front of the house, where she came face to face with the killer, standing over her daughter's bloodied body while still holding on to the gun. The mother told investigators that she rushed towards the man, who pushed her down and fired another shot before turning the gun on himself in a failed suicide attempt. The injured Marissa Beat was rushed to the West Demerara Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. Ghalee was arrested by the police and taken to the same hospital, but later transferred to the Georgetown Hospital for surgery. Khan was deported from the U.S. last year after serving time on a drug trafficking conviction. He returned to Guyana and restarted his security company, even becoming the secretary of the Guyana Association of Private Security Organizations. The Central Housing and Planning Authority will over the next 2 days allocate more than 1,600 house lots in Chatamargo, Felicity, Success, and Lurie Souvenir on the east coast of Demerara, as it tries to address an ongoing backlog in allocations. Speaking at the ministry's Dream Realized event this morning at the Otachong Conference Center, the minister within the Ministry of Housing, Suzanne Rodriguez, said that persons who will be allocated lots over the next 2 days are persons who submitted their applications prior to 2019.
So it's people who have been waiting for some time, and it's in keeping with our commitment to address the backlog in the system. Region 4 is our largest region and represents the highest demand that we have for housing. It has a backlog of we have about 48,000 pending applicants in Region 4, even though we've already made over 41,000 allocations within the last 5 years.
Rodriguez also said works have been ongoing to clear the application backlog in other regions. She said works are ongoing in the smaller regions as new areas are being opened up, adding that the ministry is now faced with a new challenge since its allocation target for this year has been increased from 10,000 to 25,000.
So we see the housing sector and the housing program as a great equalizing factor and a vehicle through which we can create generational wealth. Anybody who has become wealthy anywhere in the world owns real estate. It's part of their investment portfolio, owning real estate, because the asset only appreciates over time.
And Housing Minister Colin Crowe said works have been continuing on land development to pave the way for allottees to begin their house construction. He said in some areas the volume of work to be done is large as new housing schemes are being developed.
Since we're in office, since 2020, 86 new housing areas. And I repeat, 86 new housing areas, of which in Region 4 itself, we have 26 on the east coast of Demerara. And in Region 4, 37 new areas, 9,000 acres of land. Those are lands that government also had to make tough decisions because you have Ministry of Agriculture as part of our food security.
Minister Kroll also noted that there is a push to have the processing of titling completed much faster. Hundreds of land titles will be given out to persons who were previously allotted their land tomorrow.
Guyana Bartica Regatta 2025 is here and is bigger than ever. On Sunday, April 20th, witness high-speed powerboat action at Golden Beach featuring the best in the game, Randy Bell, Dave Scott and Team Shivraj battling for glory. Easter Saturday, the stage is set for the dazzling Miss Regatta pageant and the electrifying mega show featuring Lady Lava, Calvin Burnett, Freedom Boss, and many more. Don't miss Easter Monday grand finale with beach parties, football, and non-stop vibes. This event is powered by Bartica Regatta Committee, Government of Guyana, BK International Group of Companies, G Mining Ventures, ETK Inc., Banks DIH, One Communications, and Ansi McCall.
VIP Lounge presents the ultimate VIP experience, Rupanuni Rodeo 2025.
Down by the river on a Friday night, pyramid of cans in the pale moonlight.
The ultimate VIP experience. Grab your crew and enjoy privileged view of the rodeo arena, bar with exclusive service, covered area, bathroom with easy access, music by all Latin top DJs, and access to the after party until sunrise. Admission exclusive VIP Cameroons 10,000, VIP General 5,000. For more information and ticket location, call 592-683-9423. For reservations, call 592-704-9104. VIP Lounge, VIP Experience at the Rupanuni Rodeo, April 18th, 19th, and 20th, 2025.
Caribbean girl, me know for tick, me know for top. Yeah, man, I watch my body like say them, I watch a match. Yeah, anything you say them, girl, I do it like it's tax. But make my own money like the girl she move with trap. Classy.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Need small appliance for your kitchen? Giftland have it. Need fridge or stove? Giftland have it. Speakers or laptop? Giftland have it. I'm telling you, Giftland have everything. And don't get me started on TVs. 58 inch, 65 inch, 70 inch, 75 inch. All sizes in leading brands. Best thing about it, they give a warranty. Man, Giftland is the place for all your electronics purchases.
Washi. Hi people, washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks to Washi soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright, have my clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Stabrook Market.
Buster presenting the new 500 milliliter. Wow, Buster flavorful. Make every meal better. Grab a Buster, we drink, Buster move. Taste this. 500 ml, that's it.
Buster videos, that's cool. Buster 500 milliliter is a brand new choice. So me drink with my food. Vibing every munch, that's smooth. Introducing the new Buster 500 milliliter. Grab a bottle with your lunch today.
Well, President Irfan Ali has announced that talks are on the way to revive private cane farming in Region 3 in an effort to boost economic activity in some West Bank Demerara communities. Speaking at the public meeting at Canal Number 1 last evening, the president noted that the closure of the Wills estate a few years ago made a number of private cane farmers from the West Bank of Demerara lose their investments and livelihood. He said although the government has been working on alternative opportunities for the communities, he believes the resuscitation of private cane farming will once again increase economic activity in the region.
We now have to find a formula. And right now I've asked the Ministry of Agriculture, I've asked Guy Suku to come to me with a plan through which we can help the farmers to prepare back the land so they can get back into private cane farming. And in getting back to private cane farming, we have to ensure that we build a sector in which they are paid a fair price for their cane so that they can be successful. That is what we're working on.
The president also said the move is part of a wider push to ensure that more is being done at the community level. He pledged continued support to farmers and small businesses in the region, saying that his government will continue to invest to ensure that there is a level playing field for them.
I can tell you directly how we're going to develop a localized economic strategy. I call it grassnomics. The grassroots economics, grassnomics. How we will develop a grassroots economic model that will ensure you at a community level, you at this level, that you are successful also.
According to the president, several programs will be started in the Region 3 area to support the various sectors. He has also promised training opportunities for persons interested in joining the teaching and nursing professions. The People's National Congress Reform has issued an official response to the Alliance for Change regarding its list of demands for a coalition between the APNU and the AFC. The PNC Reform is the largest party in the APNU. The two sides have been meeting on the possibility of a coalition ahead of this year's elections. But the Alliance for Change wants its leader Nigel Hughes to be the presidential candidate, in addition to 40% of all positions in government, with the APNU receiving 60%. At a press conference today at Congress Place, PNC Reform Executive Ganesh Mahipal said the PNCR has tabled its response, even as talks continue between the two sides.
Yes, we have responded, and our communication between the AFC and ourselves, we are having lots of communications. So
Mahipal steered clear of providing particulars of the response, telling reporters instead that progress has been made and the talks are ongoing. News source has learned that the People's National Congress is pushing for the presidential candidate since it is the largest party in the coalition. The PNC Reform also wants a 70-30 ratio instead of the 60-40, with the APNU receiving 70.
The talks with the AFC are ongoing. In terms of where we are, I would like to believe we are in a better position than when we first started. And I will go as far as to say that nothing is agreed to until all is agreed.
Back in 2015, the APNU and the AFC entered into a coalition based on an agreement known as the Cummingsburg Accord. The coalition campaigned on that accord and won the 2015 elections. The accord was renewed for the 2020 elections, but the party suffered a major defeat. The AFC later opted out of the APNU-AFC coalition, while maintaining its seats in the National Assembly as a coalition. Well, almost a month after Acting Chief Justice Roxanne George ruled that the former Chief Executive Officer of the Central Housing and Planning Authority, Leland Saul, was wrongfully terminated by the Minister of Housing, Colin Crowell, in 2020, Attorney General Anil Nandlal has approached the appeal court for a reversal of that decision. The acting Chief Justice had ruled that Mr. Saul was wrongfully terminated because he was dismissed by the minister and not by the board that hired him. She further ruled that Saul should be paid his salaries and benefits for the 29 months he had remaining on his contract. But in pleadings to the appeals court, Mr. Nandlal is contending that the acting Chief Justice erred and misdirected herself when she ruled that Mr. Saul was not lawfully terminated. He also contends that the judge erred when she ruled that the minister is not vested with the power to dismiss Mr. Saul. Mr. Nandlal further stated that the judge failed to address the fact that Mr. Saul's contract of employment fell within the private law sphere and could not attract judicial review because it was not a public contract. And that argument was also put forward by Mr. Nandlal in the High Court, but it fell flat after the acting Chief Justice ruled that Mr. Saul's application reached the threshold for a judicial review. Nandlal said the acting Chief Justice's ruling that Mr. Saul must be paid for the remaining months on his contract was excessive, and therefore he wants the Court of Appeal to set that ruling aside, reverse it, or vary the ruling. Saul, who had a 3-year contract with the government from 2020 to 2023, was terminated with 1 month's notice just after the change of government in August 2020. He approached the court seeking judicial review, and through his attorney Darren Wade, he argued that his termination was unlawful and was in breach of his contract of employment. The move by the APNU administration to inject $10 billion into the National Insurance Scheme to issue one-off payments to pensioners who did not reach the required number of contributions has been described by the People's National Congress as inadequate. At a press conference today at Congress Place, executive member of the PNC Reform, Ganesh Mahipal, said in a desperate attempt to win support ahead of the upcoming elections, the president has made a number of announcements.
Already, its NIS one-off payments are being criticized as unjust and deceptive, as they amount and account for only a small portion of what workers have actually contributed over their working life.
The government has also announced that going forward, the subvention to municipalities will increase from $18 million to $50 million, while NDCs will get $30 million up from $5 million. But the increase, according to Mahipal, will not even cover the garbage collection budget for many of the same municipalities.
That these recent announcements expose the PPP's inability and indifference to formulate strategic and holistic plans. The development of our communities countrywide requires much more than increased yearly subventions. In addition, communities need to have developmental plans. Councillors need to be paid a proper stipend. Local governance needs to be improved through training and upskilling. PPP political interference needs to be terminated, as residents need to be re-engaged and remotivated.
And he also examined the situation with regards to the CSEC examination and those payments. He said while that decision to pay the full examination fees for all students writing CSEC will be welcomed, especially by struggling families, the nation still awaits a proper plan to attract and retain more teachers and to improve student performances. He said the recent announcements by the president must be examined closely.
Guyana Bartica Regatta 2025 is here and is bigger than ever. On Sunday, April 20th, witness high-speed powerboat action at Golden Beach featuring the best in the game, Randy Bell, Dave Scott and Team Shivraj battling for glory. Easter Saturday, the stage is set for the dazzling Miss Regatta pageant and the electrifying mega show featuring Lady Lava, Calvin Burnett, Freedom Boss, and many more. Don't miss Easter Monday grand finale with beach parties, football, and non-stop vibes. This event is powered by Bartica Regatta Committee, Government of Guyana, BK International Group of Companies, G Mining Ventures, ETK Inc., Banks DIH, One Communications, and Anthony McCall.
Yeah, you already know it's your truly Nani Katoy, the queen of zest.
If you take people, man, clap your hand, boy. If you take people, man, clap your hand, boy.
Wait, Bobby?
Hi, Granny.
You know the Nelly song?
How you mean? Plus, she coming for a quick explosion Sunday, April 20th.
Creek explosion?
Which creek? And is who bringing she?
The creek by Splashman, Aziza Akusa, and his Team Extra bringing she.
Team Extra? Let me call Freddy.
Hello, Granny.
Hi, bye.
What going on?
You bringing a liquor toy and you didn't even put me on the show? Like you's a kunumunu or what?
Don't say fat, you're booking you now.
Ghalee, Granny. Let me see the flyer. Female dancing competition over 160,000 given away. Plus male dance off for one motorbike.
Music by Bobby Kush, DJ Magnum, DJ Garwin, David Hype, and Papa Feelings.
Are you giddy up and get your early bird tickets for $2,000 at Team Extra Starbrook Market, Just Your Size Boutique, White Castle Fish Shop, and Fireside Sweets. Freak Explosion, compliments of Fireside and Team Extra.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. It can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall in the region. Thousands of indigenous people from across Brazil are rallying in the nation's capital this week to demand protection for their land rights, fighting legislation that could make it impossible for some tribes to reclaim territory they were forced to leave, Reuters reports. Disputes over the 2023 law, backed by the powerful farm lobby, have fomented the protests by indigenous groups that say it violates their rights to ancestral lands recognized in Brazil's 1988 constitution. The dispute is now in the hands of the Supreme Court Justice Gilmar Mendes, who a year ago set up a conciliation chamber for representatives of indigenous groups and the farm sector to find common ground. Indigenous umbrella group APIB, which is challenging the law in the court, has left chambers set up by the Supreme Court, arguing that its existence was disrespectful to the constitutional rights of Brazil's native communities. Venezuela's National Assembly yesterday passed a decree proposed by President Nicolas Maduro's government declaring a state of economic emergency in response to U.S. sanctions and tariffs, according to Reuters. In March, The administration of U.S. President Donald Trump began suspending authorizations for oil companies operating with Venezuela's state-owned PDVSA and imposed secondary tariffs on crude oil and gas exports. Maduro signed a decree on Tuesday, citing constitutional powers to declare states of emergency. The new regulation allows Maduro to implement measures to boost economic growth, curb inflation, offer special treatment to investors, suspend taxes or exemptions, and establish import substitution mechanisms, among other actions. The emergency decree aims to aid national production, Vice President and Oil Minister Delcy Rodriguez said during the presentation of the document to lawmakers. The economy is being affected by the U.S. measures, she said, but oil and gas production is continuing, despite a 30% fall in price. And finally tonight, international news. Beijing increased its tariffs on U.S. imports to 125% on Friday, hitting back against U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to hike duties on Chinese goods and raising the stakes in a trade war that threatens to upend global supply chains, according to Reuters. China's retaliation intensified the economic turmoil unleashed by Trump's tariffs, which has seen markets tumbling and foreign leaders puzzling how to respond to the biggest disruption to the world trade order in decades. The U.S. administration was sticking to its guns on Friday, touting its discussions with a number of countries on new trade deals, which it says will justify its dramatic upheaval in policy. However, the tit-for-tat tariff increases by the U.S. and China stand to make goods trade between the world's two largest economies impossible, analysts say. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you an enjoyable weekend.